Welcome to the Faith Moment this Wednesday. I'm looking through November. Well, I've decided that I'm going to look through November at one word: heart. Today I'm looking at take heart. Last week, if you remember, it was one heart. Take heart. And I've come to the words of Jesus for this one in the New Testament, in the Gospels. I find it fascinating because I find with the word heart that you can really see how the Bible is built up by different people, because different people who have written it have got different hearts, different approaches to the centre of their being, the heart. So I'm going to read to you something that you know very well from the Gospel of Matthew. Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. But by this time the boat, battered by the waves, was far from the land, for the wind was against them. And early in the morning he came walking toward them on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, saying, "It's a ghost," and they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." Take heart. I like to go back, as I've said before, to the Greek Linear Bible to actually see what the Greek word is for take. Like I said the other week, heart, cardia. Take is tharsei, Tharsei, tharsei. But when you look at the Greek Linear, it says, cheer up. And I like that. I can picture Jesus saying that to people. Cheer up. I was lying in bed during the night thinking about this, thinking about Jesus walking on the water. I'm sure I've said it before years ago, whatever I did, that years ago I used to like water skiing, when you could actually do it, when you were even insured to do it, when you were on holiday. And I can always remember going out, not too quickly, I couldn't do it quickly, but on the back of a boat on a line, and then the boat would change direction and you would cut right across the waves that the boat was making, and it was really exhilarating. I was thinking, I wonder if Jesus actually got wet walking on the water. Were his clothes sopping? There was a wind. The wind was against him, as it was the boat. And yet he must have been laughing at them when they thought he was a ghost. He just said, cheer up. What are you doing? Now, I can find 4 times where Jesus uses that word. I could find more simply by saying it's repeated several times in the same incidents in the Gospel. But there are 3 others where he uses that word. One, there were some people who were carrying a paralysed man lying on a bed. And when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven. But again, in my Greek linear, it says, cheer up, son. It's as if this word is used by Jesus at times of special miracles. Because in a moment, that paralytic man was healed. He told him to wrap up his stretcher and walk. Just like on the water, when Peter said, can I come out and join you on the water? And as soon as Peter got out there, the wind scared him. I wouldn't say it scared him. It must have unsettled him, probably unbalanced him. It blew him over, in fact, probably. And Jesus said, oh, you of little faith. It's that same attitude, isn't it? It's this positive humour, not humour, but positive wanting to be fire in your heart type thing. And that was Jesus, wasn't it? And then there was another. He was going through the crowd to Jairus's, was it his son or not? Without looking it up, I forget, who was dying. And this lady touched the hem of his garment. And Jesus said in the middle of the crowd, who touched me? And eventually, in her embarrassment, she admitted it was her. And he must have looked at her and said, cheer up. Cheer up. Take heart, daughter. Your faith has made you well. And instantly the woman was made well. It's as if this word was needed as part of the miracle. Not just Jesus' attitude, but he needed his heart to be so full of joy and oomph and positiveness for him to actually complete the miracle. Now, do you remember the other one? There was a blind man called Bartimaeus. And he was getting on everyone's nerves because he was saying, Son of God, have mercy upon me. Son of God, have mercy upon me. Son of God, have mercy upon me. And Jesus stood still. There's crowds everywhere. And said, call him here. And they called the blind man, saying to him, cheer up, take heart, get up, he's calling you. And Jesus said, what do you want me to do? I want to see. And in an instant, he could see. Do you know, we can't allow ourselves to be down. For me, when I'm tired, to actually start trying to picture Jesus. To actually try and be like a disciple in the boat. Try and be next to that lady who touched the hem of his garment. Try and be one of those people who helped to carry that paralytic person to Jesus. The more I think about it, particularly at night, times when I wake up and I can't sleep, the more it fills me with a peace and a joy. I take heart Take heart also means to be encouraged. And you know, last week I was saying, can you have two hearts? Is it possible? If it says, I will give you one heart. And I was really encouraged by Stella at Apley Bridge. I heard it second hand. Stella makes hearts. She makes identical hearts, and she gives one heart to a person going into hospital. And because the loved one can't be with them in hospital, she gives the other heart to them. So they're both one heart. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love it when I hear things like that. Well, until next week, when I'll be talking again about heart, and I don't know what, but I will, right through November. God bless.